the Civil War look like? And the answer is it will look nothing like the First Civil War, okay? Because in the First Civil War, there was clearly a division that divided the nation, okay? A pro-slavery camp and an anti-slavery camp, okay? But as you can see from this chart, in today's America, conflicts, there are many sorts of conflicts, there are many sorts of factions in America, okay? And therefore, the Civil War will not be one event, but it will be a series of violent episodes over 10, 20, 50 years, okay? Does that make sense? So let's go over these events, okay? The first thing that would probably happen are sort of riots and unrest, okay? And we saw that during the first Trump presidency because of the George Floyd Black Lives Matter protests. So we'll see more of that when Trump becomes president, where people are so angry at his election, they'll start rioting, okay? And there'll be a lot of unrest. Second is basically civil conflict, meaning that neighbors take guns against each other. So America is divided between left and right, but there are actually pockets of America where left and right are very closely, they live very closely with each other, okay? So it's very likely they'll take arms against each other. But these will be small, isolated affairs where maybe one or two people get killed, okay? So you have civil conflict. Then you have state or city secession, meaning that you have maybe one city, New York City, or one state, California, and they're so disgusted by the state of affairs, they declare independence, okay? They succeed. And guess what? They have their own army. Their citizens are armed, okay? But they'll most likely be attacked by other states or different groups, okay? So that would be a more major conflict, okay? Then you have what we'll call insurgencies. So basically, a political group who's trying to form a government of some sort, okay? So it's possible that you have Christian extremists or maybe left-wing extremists who try to overthrow the government of, I don't know, New York or Virginia, okay? Right? Then you have coup d'etats, where basically an arm of the military, maybe special forces, most probably special forces, try to overthrow the government. So I think because of the way things are structured, in the next Civil War, all these things will happen at once, okay? And they'll build on top of each other. But remember that America is a very large country. So there could be a lot of places where it's very peaceful. There's no war, okay? But there could also be some places like New York City or Los Angeles where there's just a lot of violence going on. Whether or not the U.S. government is overthrown, that's a very specific question. I don't know, okay? The only thing I can do is look at the structural forces and conclude that a civil war is very likely and that the civil war it will be very chaotic. But what will actually happen in the Civil War, I don't actually know, okay? But what I will say is that given the nature of the Civil War, I think once the war ends, the outcome will be that America becomes a Christian isolationist theocracy. The reason is very simple. Remember that at the founding of America, there were two opposing visions of the country. The first was to build a multicultural, secular empire to spread democracy and freedom around the world, okay? That was the first vision. And America has achieved this vision, okay? And it's led to all this conflict. The second vision, which is also very strong, is to believe in America as a white Christian nation dedicated to the rule of God. And so I think there will be extremists in America who will want to push this agenda. And why will they win? Why are they most likely to win this war? Okay, the answer is they're most willing to fight and to die for what they believe in, okay? A lot of these people happen to work in law enforcement, the military, and especially the special forces. So that's what I think will be the most likely outcome of the Civil War when it ends. But I don't know when it will end, okay? And I don't actually know what happens in between, the specifics, okay? So any more questions before I finish? Okay. The last thing I want to talk about is the specifics of how the Civil War will start, okay? What will ignite this war, okay?